Hey guys, it's me Betty and welcome back to Betty's Books. In today's video I will be going through the 9 books that I read in March. If you want any more detailed, I guess is the right word, reviews of these books, you can check out my Instagram, which is at Betty's Books 10, because I'm still trying to get used to saying reviews. I usually write them and do reviews on Instagram, so they're much better than these will be. Basically. So let's get started. Right guys, so the first book that I read in March is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. I rated this 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I fell in love with the characters instantly and I really liked the writing. It was very sort of like easy to read. I read it very quickly, and the only reason that it's 3.5 stars is because the pacing, I don't know what it is about the pacing. The pacing really confused me. Like, it felt like so much happened, but then it didn't really feel like anything happened, if that makes sense. Yeah, it was really weird, and I don't know why it was really weird. But I can tell from the way that I love the characters and the way that I love the world. But, like, I don't love the world as in, like, I think it's a great world. I like the way it's built because obviously it's a dystopia, so it's a horrible world, but I like the world. So I gave this 3.5 stars, but I can tell that I'm really gonna like the series and I'm very excited to continue with it. So that is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. Right, the next book that I read in March was Killjoy by Holly Jackson. This is a novella. It's like 140 pages, and this is the prequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I love. I love A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I rated this 4.5 stars. I read it in one night. I've never read a book in one day before, and this is the first book that I've read in one day, and it's so sort of weird. I don't know. It was really weird opening the book, starting the book, like being here, yeah, and then a couple of hours later being here. It was really weird, but I really enjoyed this book. I loved the plot, obviously I loved the characters, and I loved the way that it's set up for the rest of the series. So, Killjoy by Holly Jackson. The next book that I read in March was Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is my first Ali Hazelwood book. This is her young adult romance. Did I get launched back into a chess phase by this book? Yes. Am I complaining about it? No. No, I'm not. I rated this 4.5 stars, but I think it might be more of a 4 because in my head 4.5 is that I think about it a lot, but I think more about chess than I think about this book. But then when I think about chess, I think about this book. Yeah, it's really weird. So actually no, I'm sticking with it, 4.5 stars, because I loved the romance in this book. I loved the way it was set up and it felt very real. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but yeah, it felt very real, and I obviously really liked all of the chess aspects, and there was a lot of chess aspects, and all of the characters were so nice, and it was great. I loved the plot. I loved all the chess references. I've already said that. Yeah, 4.5 stars, and I would highly recommend this for anyone who wants to get into chess, or who already loves chess, or who just wants an enjoyable romance book. Next, I read The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this is a very fluffy book, which makes me happy. So this book is basically like teenagers with powers, but I don't think they're magical. I think they've just got good observation skills, really. And they go and they solve cold cases, and then they get roped into a serial killer case, basically. And I rated this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed, I like true crime stuff, basically. And I really enjoyed all of like the true crime aspects of it. And yeah, all of the, and they're all teenagers, so it's young adult, and I really just, the plot, the ending had me shocked. There's a love triangle in it for anyone who's into that. There's a love triangle, and I feel like it doesn't feel forced, the love triangle. I feel like it happens naturally. Sorry, I'll stop now. I'll stop. Yeah, it just felt like it fit into the story. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like, oh, this book doesn't have any romance in it, let's put some romance in. No, it felt natural. I keep accidentally... No, that was completely by accident this time, I'm sorry. But yeah, I rated this 4.5 stars. This is a 4-book series, I think. I think it's 4 books. Have I read the Inheritance Games? No. Do I have the first one on my shelf? Yes. Did I read this one first? Also yes. Do I regret it? No. So I'd highly recommend this to anyone, really. Next. I did it, guys. I read Once Upon a Broken Heart. My love. This is amazing. I rated this 5 stars, in case you couldn't tell. I have no words, really. I mean, the plot was amazing. I loved all of the characters. I loved the world. This is a spin-off of the Caraval trilogy. But you don't necessarily have to read Caraval first. But especially in the first couple of chapters, there's like references to the Caraval trilogy that really, I don't know, brought it up to another level for me. Yeah, so I loved all the characters. I loved the plot. I loved the way that everything linked together. The romance, the banter, the love. I loved this so much. I loved like the magic system as well. The magic system in these series are amazing. And I would highly recommend Caraval. I would highly recommend Once Upon a Broken Heart. Stephanie Garber's writing will amaze you. It'll sweep you up and take you to another world. And you will love every second of it. So that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Right, next I read The Wicked King by Holly Black, and I rated this 4.5 stars. This is the second book in the Cruel Prince trilogy, and I read this in like 2 days. Like, I read like 30 pages one day, and then I just sat and read the rest of it the next day. So I loved it, really. I love all the characters, I love the romance, I love the plot. I think I really like fantasy books with like political intrigue. And this series has lots of political intrigue, which is really, really good. I love the world of Elfhame. And I think it's great. And I love the way it sort of links in with the human world, you know, because it's a magical world, but the human world sort of still exists. Like, they sort of exist like hand in hand. I think that's a good way to explain it, I don't really know. But I love how all of the characters are just so unique, and you either love them or you hate them. But if you hate them, you're kind of supposed to hate them, if you understand what I'm saying. And all of the plot twists, the plot, the characters, the romance, everything, amazing. 4.5 stars, highly recommend this entire series. And then I read Stand Up by Nikesh Shukla, and I read this for a literature quiz that I've already done now. I really enjoyed this book. I don't know, I think I had a bit of a dumb moment, because it's called Stand Up, and it's about stand-up comedy, and I had a bit of, like, whilst I was reading it, like, near the beginning, I had a bit of a, like, oh, like, I felt really, really dumb afterwards. But, yeah, this is basically a book about this teenage girl trying to get into the stand-up world, really, and I thought it was really, really good. I rated this 4 stars, and I loved all the characters. There was a bit of romance in the end, which kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but like in a good way. And I don't know, I've never really read a book about comedy before. Like, I read like books with comedy in it, but I've never read a book like solely about comedy, so I thought that was really, really interesting. And it was kind of like a Never Meet Your Heroes thing as well, which I thought was quite cool. And yeah, I'd recommend this to really anyone. I really liked sort of like the casualness of the narration as well. Like, the narrative voice was just, it wasn't like fancy or anything, it was just sort of like someone sitting down and telling you their story, which I thought was really, really cool. So yeah, that's Stand Up by Nikesh Shukla, and I would highly recommend it. Right guys, so the penultimate book is The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I give this 5 stars. I finished the series and I cried. I cried when I finished this series. Again, I kind of like read it all in 2 days. Kind of, a little bit. Yeah. I love all the characters, obviously. I love the magic system. It's basically just really the same thing that I said for The Wicked King. I loved everything about this book and I gave it 5 stars. And I think it was a really good way to round the series off. I think it tied up all of the loose ends that it needed to tie up for it to be a good ending and, you know, for me not to be annoyed about the ending. So I don't really have anything else to say because it's basically the same thing as The Wicked King. But I would highly recommend this entire series. If you take anything from this video, go and read this series. This is the Cruel Prince series, by the way. I don't know if I said that. But please read it. You're doing yourself a favour if you go and read it. Right, we're on to the last book. Ballad Never After by Stephanie Garber. Second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. 6 stars, if I'm being completely honest with you. I cried. No, like, what? Let's see here. I'm trying to find the bit where the chaos started. Like, this last little bit made me cry. It was mental. It was insane. I loved the magic. I think with The Cruel Prince and Once Upon a Broken Heart, it's kind of like, it's not fantasy as in like there's dragons and battles and stuff. It's kind of like fairy tale. Kind of, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it kind of feels like you're like reading a fairy tale. And I love that. Really. Yeah, all of the characters, again, amazing. All of the plot twists, again, amazing. The ending had me crying. The way the ending was like formatted, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna use that term specifically because if you've read this book, you know what I mean. I loved the way that the end bit was kind of like set out. Oh, read it. I've not read the 3rd one yet because on Amazon, Curse of True Love doesn't come out in paperback until June 20th, but I don't want 2 paperbacks and then 1 hardback because that is going to irritate me forever. So I'm going to have to wait. I've got a massive book hangover, but I'll be okay. Read the series. If you take any 2 things from this video, read the Cruel Prince series, read Once Upon a Broken Heart, and Caraval actually, because Caraval's amazing as well. But Once Upon a Broken Heart is better, at least in my opinion. So yeah, that was The Ballad Never After by Stephanie Garber. Whew, what a book. Right guys, so that is it for this video where I review the 9 books that I read in March. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want any more detailed reviews, you can check those out on my Instagram, which is @Betty'sBooks10. And I hope you guys had an amazing Easter, because I will be posting these after Easter. And have an amazing day, week, month, year, however long it is until I next see you. Have a great time then. Bye for now.